Hi, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Jordan here. I thought I'd treat you now. I know we've been outside, but I thought it's time to come inside and show you a bit of the interior of Cottons. And right now I'm joined by a lady who's made some groundbreaking news and involvement for hair, beauty for women of colour all over the world. And she's been involved with mass media production. She was the she was an editor for Pride magazine and the chief editor for She magazine over in the West Indies. I'm talking about none other than Miss Sherry Dixon.
Hey.
Hi, Sherry. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm
nice to see you.
On a beautiful sunny day, isn't it?
Yes, it has been. You know, we've been graced with the weather, even in September. We've actually been joking, actually. Has the summer started in September and not July this year?
Well, hopefully it lasts the whole of September and then we can top up our tans.
This is the one,
or
you know.
vitamin D's.
That sounds wonderful. I'm liking that, actually. Yeah, so tell us, how did you actually enter into the world of media?
Ooh. I worked in PR when I was younger. I worked in PR and it was a financial PR firm. I really loved it. It was just learning about how things work. Because people presume that when you see Persil or a washing powder on TV that it just happens to be there. There's a man behind the brand who thinks about the logo, who thinks about how do we present it. And I was working in PR and just so enjoyed it. And then I remembered one day reading the newspaper, I think it was the Daily Mail, and then I was reading a black newspaper, and I remember thinking, there's nothing in here representing me, you know, I want my money back. And the other paper had for the Caucasian audience, it was saying how to get this, how to eat, what to eat, if you've got fibroids, what to do. And I phoned up that black newspaper and I told them, I said, I want my money back because you're not really giving me what I want. And the woman said, you're rude, but you know, what would you suggest? And I told her what I suggested. She said, well, if you can do it, why not? And that was a challenge. Our family motto is I can and I will.
Yes.
And that was my challenge. And I found a friend who was a model, another one who's something else, and basically got my team together of friends and made her up. Makeup was my part-time hobby. And I went off and made her up and presented the step-by-step guide. And that was in 1991. For that newspaper, and that started my journalistic career. And then I started to get a lot of questions and a lot of people writing in, and then I thought, well, I don't want to just sort of answer because I think I know. I needed to know. Yes. I know. And I went off and did a beauty course, proper cosmetology course, and then I went on to do 2.5 years of fashion photographic makeup, which was then for magazines, and that gave me an insight into a whole different world. How, you know, what happens behind the brand, whether somebody's made to look. If they're tired, you get rid of the eyes, how you can stretch them. The clothes, everything is like a commodity, just like in the PR world. Right. And then that was that. I really enjoyed that world, and then I started to get bookings to do top beauty people or top celebrities when they came in. I did Luther Vandross, Barry White, Diana Ross. There was just a whole heap of those black stars coming in, and I kept getting the bookings. And that's when I realised that was my choice of work. So I not only applied the skincare or makeup, I also I basically went to write about it or speak about it on TV. Okay. I was asked to do that, and that then threw me into the world of media. That's how I got there.
Great stuff, really interesting journey. You talk about studying the cosmetology and, you know, representing women of colour specifically. Yes. In that course, did you realise that there is a lot of differences in the way what can apply to the white or the Caucasian market, should I say, and how much it differs from people of colour?
Well, one of the things that I realised was that we were often misrepresented. The women of colour was misrepresented because they couldn't, because nobody understood our skin. They didn't understand our hair, but there was a lot of our people that wasn't willing to go in front of the camera or go and speak out. And what helped was that I had the knowledge of it and I could articulate it without fear. And writing it was easy. There was a big difference. In the way our hair, we didn't understand our hair. We, the black woman, didn't understand our hair. So if we don't understand our hair, why should they understand our hair? So I started to write in what one would call a simple guide into understanding that our hair needed moisture. I would go to the professionals, get the information, and then translate it to what the normal everyday person wanted to hear rather than the jargon. And from the point of skin, it was just showing people that your skin is not like a Brillo pad. You just don't scrub it. You know, we were always scrubbing our skin really hard, taking away the oil. We needed oil, not taking it out, and not to buy harsh products that were like toilet cleaners. So it was basically finding the information and telling people our skin is more sensitive than the Caucasian skin, and although it looks thicker and heavier and has more oil, it's still a very delicate skin. And I think when I got that message across, I then started to get a following.
Talking of that, again, possibly hair care or the creams and washing for the body. Was there a communication between yourselves and possibly, like, say, hairdressers for a different source of creams to go into the hair and stuff like that?
Well, most of those people are already there. The market's saturated by the American people who basically had it locked down for years. But it was remember, there's still a lot of products that are sold in, say, PAC, for example, where people will go and buy their own products and do their stuff at home. The market for home care is much more vast, perhaps, than the hairdressing, or was the hairdressing industry. So therefore, it was more important to write for a magazine or a newspaper that I can get to my black women. And so I started to write, obviously, for Pride, but for black black beauty and hair, black hair. There was a point when I was writing for a lot of people, including Cosmo, and I did a little bit for Elle, a Girl About Town. I just, wherever I could get in, I would get in. And it was trying to educate our people about our skin. Don't scrub it. It's skin. It has flesh. It's got 3 layers of flesh, just like other people. The only thing is that we have more oil molecules because we're probably not meant to be in this country here that is cold. We're meant to be in somewhere that gives us heat, and so therefore, if you're in somewhere that's heat, the body was made by God to lubricate itself and protect itself. And so therefore, don't destroy what is a natural protection, but just understand not to use harsh chemicals on the outer layer so that it then destroyed what visibly you can see as ashy grey. Some people, you're looking at them, you're like, put on some moisturizer. What's wrong with you? But they mustn't put oil on top of oil. It's like eating peanut butter and putting butter on top of it, and then put in another honey on top of it. You've got to make up your mind. How's the skin going to breathe? You have to clean it with a soft agent and then re-moisturize it, but probably with stuff that's water-bearing, water-bearing rather than oil-bearing. So those big old tubs of Astral and Nivea and cocoa butter that we tend to dab on the face, it's really great for the body, but on the face it needs to be lighter. And that's why we were getting so much spots, which then lead to dark marks. And then the cycle came where people then were buying horrible products, fading products, to get rid of those dark marks.
Right. So this is actually leading on to the next question I was going to say. You mentioned that we have certain parts work for the body, but not necessarily the face, and then dark marks then led into the skin bleaching scenario, which you were quite heavily involved in, doing a mass media promotion across the board, trying to show, again, the truth behind the bleaching, if you would.
Truth behind it. There's 2 sides to it. There are people who are using bleaching agents to really just get rid of the dark marks, because, as I said, with our skin, when we get chicken pox, it left a mark. And if you got a bruise, it left a mark. Because when our skin heals, it heals so fast that the melanin in the skin comes to the surface, and it shows more than Caucasian skin. So you see the dark marks on the surface, right? So people didn't like that. They wanted to get rid of the extra bruising marks, and they'd go and buy bleaching creams. And I know that there was a ban, and certain cosmetic companies at the time, Flora Roberts, Fashion Fair, Clinique, Shiseido, all of those people had to take it off of their stands. It was illegal to sell it. It still had 2% hydroquinone in it, and hydroquinone was banned in the USA and then here. Then after that, people, of course, then went wild and started to buy under the counter.
Right.
Which then made illegal stuff be sold under the counter. And what people didn't realize is that this illegal fading cream, bleaching cream, was now becoming a phenomenon in Nigeria and Jamaica, to the point where people were fading their skin and sitting out in the sun waiting to get lighter. And it became an epidemic. And then I actually was called in. I think I did a film called Yellow Babes and it was shown on Trevor McDonald's show. And on ITV, and then all the BBC radio and TV were contacting me. I didn't realise it was such an epidemic as it was, and it was for us to get it out there that it's toxin. It goes into the skin, then it goes into your bloodstream, which then affects your kidneys and your liver, and then blood poisoning, because it has lead in it,
right.
And lead is a killer.
Indeed.
So it was good to be part of the campaign. But at the same time, it was sad to see that some people were misusing it to become lighter.
Yeah. Would you say it was possibly, without putting a negative light on him, Michael Jackson, and maybe the help that it gave him to rise to success, would you say that could have been an excuse that certain people had, a lack of acceptance of their own skin colour that would have...
Michael Jackson is the obvious one, but if you have a look at a lot of stars from when they started off in the beginning and then who they are now, you sometimes wonder how come they got so light. So there's something going on there. And it's sad that people basically have to use... I'm going to go back a little bit, because I'm going to say that it's perhaps not their fault. Sometimes magazines do it.
Yes.
Where they fade the picture to make it look a bit more acceptable to an audience across the board, white and black. And so it started off with them. Because sometimes it's not... I don't really think that half these people say, I want to bleach my skin. I think that the magazine feels that it's more sellable to have a lighter skinned person, or I don't know if it's like that now, but certainly was at the time. A lighter skinned person sold more magazines than a darker skinned person. Okay. I think the only person that didn't do it to was Whoopi Goldberg. But so I think that's part of it. And Michael Jackson, I think that was a personal issue for him. That was a mental issue. But seeing somebody like that, an icon who was so successful across any race, that didn't help. And then you had people in the Caribbean and in Africa that were saying, and Asian, I shouldn't even say that, because we've got Asians and Oriental people that are using
something to highlight, yes.
cream. So we must say that, because people always think it's a black issue. It's bigger in the Asian market than it is for the black.
Indeed it is, yeah. And quite, I've seen it myself actually, they still do kind of...
They're still doing it.
Yeah.
They're still promoting
it. They do heavily.
And they're the ones that sell it.
Yes, so. Indeed they are. Yeah. Right. Okay, so we're just going to move on slightly. You moved to the Caribbean for your magazine, and then you've actually come back now. So what brought you back to the UK?
I went to the Caribbean because I thought that the Caribbean I was ready for the Caribbean. What I really wanted was a rest. And I didn't realise it. I just wanted a break. I should have just taken a break and then gone away and come back for a year. While I was there, I realised that I was at a crossroad, and many women are at crossroads. And I say women because we have more crossroads than anybody else. So whether to get married, whether to have children, whether to have them children before you're 30, whatever. And so basically I came back to the UK and started my company, which is called Women on the Crossroads, which is a sort of mentoring, inspirational, motivating type of circuit. And it has its own website, Women on the Crossroads. And that's what I do now. I lecture on confidence building and inspirational speaking. And I try to use my journey that you can change your career at any age, 20, 30, 40, 50, because I'm in my 50s now, or late 50s, and I want to inspire and motivate women to do the best that they can be.
Sure. Okay, just wrapping up. Sadly, time flies so far. But okay, you've also been involved, nominated to be in the Black 100 Plus Hall of Fame. Congratulations on that to you. Thank you, first of all. But apart from that, what else has Sherry Dixon got in the future pipeline?
I really want to work with, we build my consultancy. I realise there's a lot of people out here who really don't know A's and B's of getting into media. And I think that is the road for me, as well as running my inspirational, motivational stuff. That is the way forward. Mentoring young people so that they can move forward with grace.
Brilliant stuff. Well, as I said, time is wrapping, and I do apologise. I'd love to go on forever. I mean, this is so educational. It's amazing. But if you could just give us some information on where we can hear more information with, like, Women on the Crossroads and all of your other contact details.
Well, to contact me, go to all the W's, womenonthecrossroads.com, and send me an email. You can join the website as well. It's a free website. And share your journey with other women. Women inspire women, and that's the reason for the website, just to say, today is not a good day, I don't feel good, my husband left me today, I don't know what to do, or I've got a fashion business or whatever. It's about sharing the journey, and let's go forward together.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard, as I said, an amazing interview with an amazing lady, Sherry Dixon. Hopefully we can catch up with you again in the future once you're officially in the 100 Plus Hall of Fame. But until then, it's myself, Anthony Jordan, signing out from a wonderful interview. Thank you.